Good evening. I just got back from the county fair where I did flu shots, and that was my first time doing injections on other people. It was very exciting. So I have just finished my 6th week of medical school, and I wanted to share 6 things that I've learned over the last 6 weeks for all 2 of you that might care. So let's get started. The first thing I have learned is that no amount of studying is ever enough. You could study every waking hour of the day and it wouldn't be enough. So you need to learn how to ramp it up when you need to and when to dial it back for your own sanity, and the amount that you study is completely dependent on each person. So yeah, that panicked feeling, everyone has that. That's not just you, that's everyone. So the second thing that I've learned is that your study habits are gonna change, and not just based on what they were in undergrad. They're gonna change day to day, potentially, and they're gonna change based on what courses you're taking. The same methods won't necessarily work for the same courses, and the biggest advice I can give people is that they're gonna change and you need to be okay with that. So just be flexible, be willing to try new things because you never know what's gonna work. So the third thing that I have learned is that routines are gonna be your best friend. So in my previous line of work before med school, for years, I did not have a consistent routine of any sort. I did not get regular sleep. I had no regular exercise or eating habits, any ones that were incredibly short-lived because my schedule would change all the time. But here, the schedule is pretty much the same. You know, the days start at 8 a.m., they end around 5, you have an hour for lunch. So making sure that you get regular sleep and imposing a bedtime, I love my bedtime. So the fourth thing that I have learned is that med school is very isolating. And that one may seem like a duh, because you're more often than not moving away from friends and family, and you're starting a school where you typically might not know anyone. But yeah, you're spending all of your days studying and in class, and there's not a whole lot of time to get to know people, and you will get to know them as you go, but man, I felt like the first month was really difficult just because you're trying to forge relationships and you're trying to figure out how to study and how to use your hours in the day most efficiently, and it's hard to add in the social component. So until you make people friends, get a pet friend. The fifth thing I have learned is that you will get used to the smell of formaldehyde. I thought that I wouldn't, and it took me about 4 weeks before I could walk into the lab and not instantly gag. But it's possible. It is possible to get used to it. I have smelled most things that can come out of a human being, but for some reason, the smell of formaldehyde, it takes me right back to high school and dissecting frogs in Mr. John's biology class. But I struggle with that smell more than any other smell. But yeah, I have, as of about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I have stopped instantaneously gagging when I enter the room, so that's progress, and I am not going to discount any progress. Okay, and the sixth thing that I have learned in 6 weeks is that I miss my old life, and I was kind of surprised about that. It doesn't matter how ready you are for med school, how much you've wanted this for your entire life. It's still hard to just sever everything else and kind of move on. And I don't know about anyone else, but this is the biggest transition that I've made in my life, because I didn't go off to college in a traditional sense, so I didn't have that. But yeah, in my adult life, this is the biggest change, and I'm surprised at how much I kind of miss aspects of my old life. I don't know, I'm really surprised by this one. I thought I would just be ready to kind of let everything go and, dive right in, and I have for the most part, but I miss how free and spontaneous I could be before, and that's something I'm having a hard time letting go of. And it's not something that you should ever completely let go of. If there's something that means a lot to you, find a way to integrate it into your life. Make sure that it keeps being something that's important to you. And so my need to be carefree and to feel free and to be impulsive. It's still there. I don't know, it's gonna have to manifest in different ways. Maybe it'll be like a spontaneous hike rather than, hey, she's gonna go to Thailand. So that's it, the 6 things that I've learned in 6 weeks. That's all I have. Next week we have a test, and then the week after we have 5 exams. So many exams. Okay, I'm gonna take off my scrubs. Ooh, it's almost my bedtime. The third thing. How did I get into med school when I